Awesome. So you guys know the importance of thought. You've broken into the subconscious mind. You know exactly what we're going at. Let's go to the computer now. And what we're going to look at is how to begin impulses with thoughts and how to use positive emotions to conceive the best possible thoughts for your imagination, for your plans, everything you desire to get to your dream occupation. This is your goal chart, right? And you want to get here. This is exactly where you want to be. Remember, you guys know this, right? You can use the power of the subconscious. You can use the power of, the infinite intelligence. And of course, you can use the power of thought. So, what do we look at today? We're going to look at using thought and then having that thought with positivity get you up this ladder, and it all starts in the brain. This is the huge concept, and it's all based on this idea that your thoughts turn into realities, and we're going to look at how to increase the positivity of thoughts to increase your realities. That makes sense? That sound freaking awesome? Alright, cool. So, let's go over to orange. Orange sounds cool. All thought impulses intended for the transmutation into their physical equivalents and voluntarily planted into the subconscious mind must pass through the imagination and be mixed with faith. This is huge, right? This is the idea that you have to emotionalize your thoughts. You have to mix in faith with a plan or purpose intended for the submission to the subconscious mind that can be done only through the thought of imagination. From these statements, you'll readily observe that voluntary use of the subconscious mind calls for coordination and application of all growth success principles. Super cool stuff. With that said, we're going to look at a poem, because now you know that this is everything, right? Everything we've talked about is all building up to this one concept: to increase vibrations, increase quality of thought, increase your future based off of thinking, right? So, Ella Wilcox was a really cool poet in the late 18th, early 19th, 20th century, early 20th century. And she had this poem, and it's freaking killer because it's going to express the power of that thought, and using that mental image in the subconscious mind. I draw it kind of like on the bottom of my thought cloud because it's like sort of low-key and you have to access it. You have to kind of like dive deep to get there. You have to go in the water. Like, this is your normal place. You got to go deep to get that subconscious mind. Here's what she says. You can never tell what a thought will do in bringing you hate or love. For the thoughts are things, and their airy wings are swifter than carrier doves. They follow the law of the universe. Each thing creates its kind, and they speed over the track to bring you back whatever went out from your mind. Bam, right? The whole universe. It's like a circle, right? Circle, circle, circle. It's this cycle that happens. And you see that your thoughts, right, your subconscious gives you that idea, gives you that thought. That thought leads to action, and that action molds your subconscious. So you want to make sure you're in the right cycle. You want to make sure that you're going up a ladder, but you want this ladder to be on the right side of the building, right? So if you're trying to climb a building, and maybe this is the building, it's in red, and this building is in blue, and you want to get to your overarching long-term goal, you have to remember and figure out exactly where your goal is. So maybe your goal is in this blue building, and this red building is actually a distraction, right? You can be working your heart out. You can be doing every single thing you want. Everything drink is possible by hustling every day, working 16 hours a day, going hard, going up this ladder. But if you're going up this ladder and it's against the wrong building, you're not going to get to your goal. So make sure that your thoughts, your desires, your actions, your goals are leaning up against the right building, and you're going up the right path to get there. Through education, through action, through starting up companies, through working. It's whatever gets you to that overarching long-term goal. That's the massive success you're going to have. And that's sort of, each of these little loops, right? These loops are from principles. This is the idea. You have temporary downturns and then long-term gains. This is the same thing you're going to see throughout Principles by Ray Dalio. Freaking really cool stuff. I'll link the book review below for that one. I'm sure most of you guys have already gotten it. But also the idea that you have these goals that are like ladder steps, right? And you're building a ladder out of these goals. That's what you get in the one thing. So definitely make sure you snag both of those. Check out those book reviews. They're killer books, and they're going to get you on that path to going up with the ladder to that goal. That's the power. That's the growth that you want, to have the right thoughts, to have the right actions, and to have the right subconscious, the right infinite intelligence to get you exactly where you want to be, to grow into the person you need to be, to fulfill those overarching long-term desires, to fulfill your burning passions created through the secret formula. I'm telling you guys, that secret formula will change your life. Changes who you are. You become your goals. You become your strides. Become exactly who you set yourself up to be by feeding that information and that environment to your subconscious mind. Bam. So this poet, she understood the truth. The thoughts which go from one's mind also embed themselves deeply in one's subconscious. So if you think something, it's also in your subconscious. You got to be careful what you're thinking about, because that's influencing your subconscious. And in the subconscious, they form a magnetic pattern or a blueprint, a magnet, that's going to stick and influence the infinite intelligence. And, if you had a history of bad thoughts, it's okay, not a big deal. Thoughts are truly things. They're physical energy patterns in your mind. They're the reason for every material being in the form of thought energy. So before this course, maybe, before reading Think Grow Rich, if you had negativity in your life, that's okay, not a big deal. What we're about to go into is exactly how to purge negativity and focus on positive emotions, and just try to keep going, try to keep pushing, and keep that positivity in your life for the rest of time possible. And leave yourself to the maximum quality of being that you have and that you can be. All based on this idea that you want to peak your state up, avoid negativity, and make it freaking happen. All right, cool? Sick. So now that we got that, we're going to go over to influence of the subconscious mind. So here's the cool stuff, right? Subconscious mind is more susceptible to influence by impulses of thought mixed with feeling or emotion than those just from reasoning in your mind, from facts and numbers alone. And you guys know this, right? This is that principle that you need to create faith with emotions. Right? Here's the cool part though. This is more important than facts alone. This is more important than facts or knowledge. It's this idea that if you're totally convinced that something's going to happen, you have 100% belief in it, you can turn it into a reality by finding a way, creating a plan through your infinite intelligence. And as soon as you do that, as soon as you can emotionalize your thoughts that have an action influence on the subconscious mind, all of a sudden you're above a vast majority of people, and you can create the exact future you want, influence your mind to create the exact plans needed, and use your thoughts to become familiar and continually connected to your emotions, and absolutely crush it by connecting your thoughts to your reality and manifesting the physical equivalent of the desires you have. Super huge stuff. So with that said, we're going to look through some of these very powerful emotions. And the reason we're going through this, it's kind of like if you're baking bread, right? You have maybe brown right here, and you have like your bread pan, and you're cooking it, and you have like dough, right? And the dough just kind of sits flat in the pan. this is kind of like your mind, right? This is sort of like your infinite intelligence. For most people, this infinite intelligence isn't really growing, isn't accessed. And so because of that, there's no, if you put some bread in the oven, what makes the bread rise? It's yeast, right? So without yeast, if you put this in the oven, it's just gonna kind of like get really burnt, and it won't really grow. It won't reach its peak potential. It won't fulfill an overarching goal. So what you're doing with positivity and with these emotions, these 7 major positive emotions that can be injected through the principle of autosuggestion into your subconscious mind, into your thought impulses, your subconscious thoughts. What these are going to do is they're going to get passed on to the infinite intelligence, and they're going to allow you to start implanting little bits of yeast. And these little microbacteria, little organisms, are what are going to allow your brain, your bread, to rise. They're going to bring you up. They're going to allow the bread to grow. Same thing with your mind. They're going to allow your emotions to grow. They're going to allow your plans to start becoming a reality when they get put in the oven. The oven, of course, being your time for meditation, your time for reflection. This is the power of adding in this little bit of emotion that's going to add so much more than cold reason alone, because these emotions act like little bits of yeast in your mind that allow you to grow and grow and grow and fulfill your needs. They'll hand over the plans because of your desire for money, which you transmute to its monetary equivalent by acting on the plans given by your mind that grow from this bread, right? It's all about approaching your inner audience, speaking its language, right? Understanding your mind. And if you can understand your mind and connect with it, all of a sudden, everything here becomes the same, right? Like cooking is just like chemistry, right? Materials, ingredients, mix it together, you get a result. It's the same thing with your mind. What we're looking at here is fundamentally allowing you to master the principle of injecting positive emotions into your life so that you can draw upon the positives and avoid the negatives, to give instructions to your conscious mind. Just like you follow instructions for a recipe for cooking bread, you follow the ingredient list. You want to give instructions to your unconscious mind, your subconscious mind, subconscious mind. And the way you do that is using these 7 major positive emotions. Sound awesome? Sound great? All right, sweet. Let's go and let's do the 7 major positive emotions. These are fundamentally extracted from the chapters we've done so far, and they're super individual and important because at a very fundamental level, these are the characteristics that are gonna actually allow you to have that massive impact that you want and go out there and absolutely freaking crush it, because these principles are the basis of a top-notch personality. They're the fundamental principles that bring you into success through business, personally, in relationships, in your health. It all comes down to your ability to master these major 7 positive emotions. First one is the emotion of desire. Remember, this is exactly what we're trying to create through your secret formula. It's this idea that you know exactly what you want, and you use that formula to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. And by repeating it over and over, through persistence, you create the emotion of faith. Bam, huge, ridiculously huge. And it's this positive faith that gives you belief that this is possible, that you can make this happen. And as soon as you have that, all of a sudden you have this magnetism to you. It allows you to attract the next 2, 3, and 4. The emotion of love, extremely powerful. We talked about this in the transmutation chapter. And the emotion of sex. Both of these, all of a sudden, You have fuel that's burning this fire. It's adding gasoline into the pit. That's the basis. That's the growth. Those are the powerful emotions, the positive emotions that you want to think about and focus on. If you can exclusively think about positive emotions, all it's going to do is inject more and more and more and more metaphorical yeast into your brain to let it grow and grow and grow over time. Remember, yeast doesn't make bread rise instantly. It still takes time. But that's the only way you're going to actually have consistent long-term growth and create the plans to get to your overarching long-term goal. Number 5, the emotion of enthusiasm. Now, if we're talking about a fire above, this enthusiasm would be like the ginormous flames that are coming out of it. This is so here we've got like desire and faith, and desire and faith are like the basis of this fire. And then you pour on love and sex, you pour on these higher level vibrations in your life. And from that, you create enthusiasm. And this enthusiasm is what everybody sees, is what comes off the fire and has a massive, massive impact on everyone around the campfire, right? It's this idea that what's coming from all of this growth, all of this personal development, is massive levels of enthusiasm that excite other people and bring them towards you, so that everyone wants to be on that same team, continue growing, continue succeeding, and work towards your overarching long-term goal. All right, sound cool? Then we have the emotion of romance. It goes along with sex and love. Cool stuff, cool stuff. It's important. Use this, add to it, and you're really just focusing on putting as much positivity you can in your life, because romance is something that sticks with you, right? At home, at work, throughout all aspects of your life with quality relationships. This romance part, you're not gonna have sex every single minute of the day, and you're not, gonna be like in the most lovey mode every single minute of the day, but you try to, right? And the point with romance is it's that consistent burn, it's that consistent contribution into the fire, consistent fuel, and always there with you, your spouse, whoever your partner is. You use that to just keep pushing. All right? Number 7. This is the big one. The emotion of hope. Bam. That's what comes out of everything. That's the basis of everything. If you've got your fire here, your hope is going to be your wood at the bottom. It's going to be your charcoal. It's going to be the fundamental basis for everything you do, because you have this hope for a better place. You have this hope that something can be done to increase the quality of the world you're living in. This is the idea that so many entrepreneurs have, that they're going to take responsibility for a problem and they're going to make it better. I know a lot of guys, and they work, they have this company, I think I might have talked about this, and it's the iFixit company, right? And they have that device, you plug it into your car, and it tells you what's wrong with your car instead of making you go to a mechanic and ask them what's wrong with it. So you can like figure out what parts you need, how much does it cost to fix it, like what's actually wrong with your car, by using that diagnostics port instead of just the lights on your instrument gauge. And when these guys went to actually make that, like, do you think they had this fire going right now? Where it was like, oh, we're gonna make this amazing company, it's gonna change the way people look at car maintenance. Like, no. They had hope though. Why did they have hope? They had hope because when they started, people were getting ripped off at stations and at car places where they would get their cars fixed. They'd go in. I mean, you would have this big shop, and in this big shop there's like giant garages everywhere, and there would be cars, right, lined up because everyone had to go and get their car fixed, which is crazy, right? And you would have, maybe 1 or 2, maybe 10 mechanics in a small shop. These guys would go everywhere and they would just fix everything that they could fix. But what happened is, when clients came in, right, when everyone started to grow together, all of a sudden you got people coming in and they say, look, I have my cars over here in the parking lot. I don't really know what's wrong with it. Can you guys help me out? And they'd say, yeah, we'll help you out. And they would like overcharge them, right? They would sell them crap they didn't need. They would price the parts too high, spend too much time on labor, stuff like that. And so these guys, they started iFixit. They were like They were tired of it. They were like, what the heck, man? Why you do that? That's not a good idea. And so they created this little thing so you could plug it into your car. And now instead of going in blind, you could have this little device and it would say, hey, code, 8566. Then they made their app, right? You open up their little app, the iFixit app, and you put in the code and it says, oh, well, this is what's wrong. You've got to fix your wrench. I don't know. That looks like a wrench. That looks like an electric razor. You got an electric razor stuck in your engine. Here's what you need to do to fix it. And you also need to buy a new engine because there's an electric razor in your engine. And this is how much a new engine costs for your car. So they would give you stuff like that. They would give you that information. And then they would say, if you go to a mechanic, this is about what it should cost. So now, when you go into this situation, the confusion is gone. You have control over the buying process. You have control over the maintenance process. And a lot of times you could just do what the app said and save yourself a trip to the place. So they did this right because they had this hope. They had this vision before all of this happened that they could improve the quality of experience that millions of people had when they had issues with their car. And they took responsibility for all these people and said, you know what? We're going to create a solution to this, and we're going to make everybody happier, and we're going to make everybody grow. That's a responsibility level that makes you of tremendous value to the marketplace. And that gives you an insane growth curve. Because now you're doing it for others. You're doing it for impact. And you're going so strong that your subconscious mind is going to tell you exactly how to do it. Once you set this goal, once they set their overarching long-term goal to fundamentally shift how people looked at car maintenance, all of a sudden they developed a money-conscious mind. They knew that this was going to be a capital required. They was going to need money in a capitalistic system, right? They fill their mind with positive emotions to get to this success. It all stemmed from their ability to ignore negativity and just keep growing. You think you can make something like this and not have people tell you you're stupid? No freaking way. That's why you have to focus on you. You gotta stick to your baselines, stick to your principles, continue to grow, and absolutely crush it. Okay? Sound awesome? Sweet. Now we're gonna very quickly glance over the 7 major negative emotions, which is just a shame, the 7 negatives. Just to know that these are the ones you probably want to avoid. So these are the 7 negative emotions. So number 1, we have fear. Fear, yeah, just you gotta freaking get over it, face those fears right in the face and just make it happen. Find a way to get over it. You just have to do it. There's no other option. And we'll get in just a moment to a way to overcome all of these in just a bit. Jealousy. All right, jealousy. Freaking can't have jealousy. That's bad. Not good for your mind. Not good for your sex transmutation. It'll drain energy from your body. You have to freaking cut that crap. I know it sucks. I've had a lot of things I've had to just get past and not worry about. Especially past relationships, right? You just push it away, push it aside. Understand this stuff goes away. Can't be jealous. Especially if it doesn't even work out in the first place. Can't be trying to replace someone or take their position. It's just not where you want to be. It's a bad emotion. Don't let jealousy get to any part of your life. Number 4, hatred. Oh my gosh, this is terrible. This is the opposite of happy smiley face, right? It's like, hatred. Can't hate people. Doesn't matter what they do to you. I have people that have, seriously freaked me over. I talk more about it in that video where I lost 100 grand. But there's not a chance in my mind I'm going to hate the people that did that to me. I'm going to learn from it. And I'm going to honestly be thankful that I got the experience and that I was able to grow from it. Because I learned so much and it pushed me on a path to continue investing in business and in so many aspects of blockchain tech that I would never be in if that didn't happen to me. So you have to look at the right side of it. You have to look at the positive side of it. Cannot have hatred. The guys who did it to me were not great guys. I can't do anything about it. Can't hate them. It's okay. Just how blockchain works. So, number 4. Revenge. Same thing, right? Revenge is just gonna hurt more people, right? It's just gonna mess stuff up even more. You can't focus on revenge. You can't focus on the negatives. You gotta stick with you. You gotta go and freaking crush it. And when you do that, all of a sudden you're gonna have massive success. You're gonna have massive growth, but you're focusing on the upside, not trying to retaliate on the downside, because that's not where you want to be. That's not the goal. Okay? Sound cool? Make sense? All right. Awesome. Let's go to number 5. Greed. Yeah. I remember all those Wall Street movies that say greed is good and how they make all this money, which is super cool. And in financial markets, you can just make so much money. It's freaking insane. That's why I wrote 9 to Noon. Oh my God, it's so much fun. It's amazing. But in most circumstances, greed is bad, and I've gotten screwed over in markets through greed, and I've posted about that sort of on YouTube. But like I remember trading situations where I got greedy, and definitely missed out on some gains, took some losses. Can't be greedy. Got to use facts, technical analysis. This is an emotion that is used mostly in connotation with like finances. And just remember that, and we talk about this so much in part 2 of 9 to Noon, like you've got to be disciplined with your finances, and you want to be using facts, not guesses, not emotions. So the real takeaway here is to remove those emotions from a vast majority of your financial decisions. Obviously, like a gut impulse is good. A gut impulse I use a lot, and those are super powerful because they're based on your subconscious. Your subconscious is your gut, right? So those are powerful, but greed is just an emotion. It's just a feeling. So don't let greed attack any aspect of your individual quality of life and security, and especially don't let it overcome your mind as an emotion. It's just a bad place to be. Number 6, superstition. Superstition, dang. This man, he's got his words down for sure. He knows what's up. Superstition, right? This idea that you have belief or conviction in something that's obviously not true, which sucks because you just want it to be right. You want it to happen. But the superstition is just not a reality. You have to drop the fakes and focus on the facts. It's a dang shame. But you just got to make it happen. You got to stick to those guns, stick to those positive emotions, and ignore that stuff that's just totally fake. 7, this is the last one. This is the biggest one. This is the one so many people have trouble with. There's an entire movie named after it. Anger management. Number 7 is anger. Ugh, terrible. It's a shame. Can't be angry. Just can't be angry. I know it sucks. And I hate it. I remember I was working at Subway, and towards the end of the time period I was working there, like people started, when I was the only person there, people saw me and they saw this kid, and I don't know, man. You get, in the service industry, you get around a lot of people that just act terribly to people, which is crazy. But I don't know, it was weird. It was like when I was working alone, it's obviously just something you have to take, and you have to just have the balls and stand there and take it. But there were a lot of people that were just kind of like asshole. They're not very nice, They're not very nice. And so what I do, I wasn't a master of this art at the time. This was a long time ago in my life, and I got kind of upset. And internally, I was upset, but externally, like I didn't want to be mean to these people, so I just kind of stood there, and there's my little hat. I had a Santa Claus hat, and I just kind of like had to take it. And I was like, okay, dude, yeah, thumbs up. And I tried to make it look good, but like, it's not much to do, right? And there were just some tough situations. I have so many stories from Subway, but I'll give you this one as an example, and then I'll let you know how you can use this as a way to overcome negativity and replace it with positivity. Does that sound cool? Does that sound awesome? All right, cool. So there was this guy. He kind of looked like this guy I drew, so I'm just going to give him a little bit of a mustache and a little bit of a chin. And this guy walked in, and he was having a fun morning. He comes in, and it's like, like 10, 8. It was like 8 or 10. I'm pretty sure I opened the store at like 6. If that number sounds about right. It was a long time ago. So I opened at 6. It was 6 or 8. And he came in like 15, 20 minutes after we opened. And for those of you guys who don't know, especially if you're running a store alone, when you open up Subway, you get there like 15 minutes before opening time so you can put all the food out like in the bar and have food to give people. But like most of the stuff isn't done. For the first 2 hours of work, basically nobody ever came in, and it would just kind of be like me, and I would just kind of make bread and cookies. I make bread and cookies. And then if I had to, I'd like prep food for the day, right? Prep food. So first couple hours of work, at least where I worked, there was like basically nobody ever because it was not a very busy store in the morning, right? So I would just kind of chill out and make the food, and there was never really any food, so it was important to cook food. And so this guy comes in, and he, totally cool, right? Not usual, awesome stuff. And he wants like 2 egg sandwiches, which is totally cool. Egg sandwiches. So I just kind of put away the stuff I'm doing, not a big deal, and I go to help him, right? And I go, and he's like, egg sandwiches. Okay, so I go to the back because we have this like cooler, and in the cooler is all the food, and eggs are like the one thing that we don't have out in the bar because basically nobody ever orders eggs, so we never really make egg sandwiches. So it's like, right, I'm just like, I go over, I get in the cooler, I'm looking for these eggs, and the eggs are usually kind of like right around here. And unfortunately, there were no eggs, which is like, oh, I'm sorry, there's no eggs. So I tell him there's no eggs, and he's like, oh, well, that kind of sucks. Oh well. And then he gets like 2 more footlongs. They're like turkey sandwiches, something like that. So I make him his sandwiches, and he gets to the end, and we go to check out, and that's about right. And I'm standing here. He's over yonder. Try to make he's got his sandwiches. I gave him all his sandwiches, and he asks for like 1 more sandwich, and I'm like, okay, dude, sure, yeah. Because usually you order them all at the front, but like, I don't know, whatever. So I go back over to the beginning of the sandwich line, and we start to make the next sandwich. I'm like, okay, what sandwich do you want? And he's like, I want oh gosh, it's been so freaking long. What do they call the ones with salami and pepperoni? Spicy Italian. He says he wants a spicy Italian, right? Or whatever. And I'm like, he wants it on the cheese bread. And I'm like, okay, sure. And then I turn around, and obviously I make the bread in the morning. So I had to make the bread in the morning. And so what we have is just the bread that's left over from last night. And there was no more cheese bread. So it was like, no cheese bread. Because everybody likes the cheese bread. So I'm like, dude, sorry, there's no cheese bread, man. And he's like, what? There's no cheese bread. There's no eggs. Oh my gosh. He's like, the world's gonna end. Everyone's gonna die. I don't know. He really wanted cheese bread, I guess. And he's like, dude, this is crazy. I want a refund. I want these 2 sandwiches you made. I don't want anything here. This is terrible. I'm upset. He had these negative emotions, right? And so this is why I had to get out of that environment. 'Cause I had people like this, and they were influencing me, right? Because you got to understand the people you work with, if you're surrounded by negativity, it's much easier to become negative. Now, what I'm going to share with you in just a moment is a trick to become more positive, but please understand the underlying concept here is that it was kind of dragging me down to be around negative people because it hurt my mindset. I didn't know this at the time, right? I hadn't read Think Grow Rich until a couple of months after I left, and that's when everything became crystal clear to me. So now you're taking advantage of it, right? You're learning this. I don't know when you needed this. I'm sorry if you needed this before you got it. I'm working my butt off to get it to people once I finish it. So hopefully this has the impact it needs to have on your life. So he says that he doesn't want, let me draw this in blue just to kind of differentiate it. He says he doesn't want his stuff and he wants a refund. So I go over here, and I'm not like able to give refunds on the machine, which is ridiculous since I'm the only person that works there. And so every time there's any sort of issue, I have to call my boss on the phone, and then like, it's crazy. It was such a bad system of management. There's no trust given to the employees to take care of problems, which made the management extremely ineffective. So I get the phone, and I call him, and I'm like, hey, this guy wants to refund his 2 sandwiches, or he doesn't want to pay for his 2 sandwiches. Can you help? Because they would count all the bread at the end of the day. Just like they would count money in the drawer, you would count the bread in the cabinet. So if there's like 20 pieces of bread, it's the same as like 20 bucks in the drawer. And if you use 10, the system will count it. You should have 10 left at the end of the day. Same thing, if you give away 10 bucks in change and you get like 20 bucks in cash, then you should have 30 bucks at the end of the day. So it'll count this, and then I'll count this, and it'll tell me if we're short. And if we're short in money, obviously I have to pay money. And if we're short in bread, then I pretty much just get yelled at a bunch. So like I call the guy and I'm like, hey, can you, take out this stuff? This guy doesn't want his order. And then also, because I was the only person there, he actually told me to call my boss, or the manager, because I was like, dude, I can't help you, there's no bread. And he's like, call your manager, which is crazy, because like, I'm the only one there, dude. But what was even weirder is I didn't have access to the register, which is crazy. So they're like the management version of it, so that I could control the counts. So I call him, I say, hey, this guy is pissed off. I didn't say he's pissed off. You chill out. You say very politely, this nice man at the counter does not want his sandwiches. And then my boss is like, put him on the phone. So I hand him over the phone. And then he just kind of like raves about how terrible the morning was because there was no eggs or cheese bread and all this negativity crap, blah, blah, blah. I'm so upset. I'll never come here again, blah, blah, blah. Which sucks for him. But at the same time, like, seriously, dude, it's freaking sandwiches. And it's not like we didn't have anything out there. Like, the whole bar had food. So, anyway, negativity. I'm telling you guys, negativity, contagious. It's messing me up right now. Even the thought of negativity will legitimately deteriorate your mind, your thoughts, your subconscious. This is why a lot of people, they get stuck in this cycle where they have a bad job, or they have a bad person they're working for, and their whole life just gets worse and worse and worse because they're stuck in a negative cycle. And that's why you gotta get your butt into a positive cycle. You gotta be in an amazingly powerful environment. For a lot of people, that environment means that they have to be on their own, and that's okay. You know why? Because when you're doing that, you're focusing more and more and more on your individual capacity to grow, and you can use that as fuel to use, online resources, stuff like this. These are courses, right? You can surround yourself with people that are positive online. You can surround yourself with masterminds of people that want to grow with you. Amazing website, and I'll link like a video. I did a video about this, right? About meetup.com. Meetup.com, you can literally create a group, or you can join a group and have local meetings with guys or girls, meet people that are interested in the same things you're interested in. They're interested in professional development, personal growth. For me, investments, stocks. I know a ton of stock trading ones. They weren't really pushing me. They weren't growing me, which was a shame. But it was awesome to be around like-minded and exciting, happy people. Use these tools. Use these night meetings, right? It's like a success version of church, right? Where you're coming together for the single purpose of growth and achievement and development. That's what you get. So I'll link that video below. You guys can check it out. Check out meetup.com. Totally free stuff. It's awesome. Super cool. If you have the time, do it. Freaking make it happen. It's amazing. So I get on the phone. He says, blah, 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 blah. My boss, and then he's like, okay, give the guy back the phone. So he gives me back the phone. And then my boss is like, look, this guy's mad. Just give him 3 cookies and ask him to buy, please. And I'm like, okay, sounds good, man. And so I'm like, hey, sorry that we didn't have what you wanted, which I said earlier. But whatever, I was trying to be polite, and I was polite, So, and he's like, token of gratitude, I'd love to give you 3 of whatever kind of cookies that you want. And people like sugar. People are addicted to sugar. I talk about it over in the Jumbo membership area. Sugar's a freaking drug, man. It's crazy. It is ridiculously powerful what it can do to people. So he's like, okay, sounds good. I give him his 3 cookies for free. He buys his sandwiches, and he goes home, I'm telling you guys, I could talk all day about kids and clients in Subway. It was so much fun. Oh my gosh, I love it. But hey, you gotta move on. You gotta keep growing. If you hit that glass ceiling, a lot of times you have to take matters into your own hands. Especially in the service industry, it's very two-sector. You have high end and low end, right? You gotta make sure you know exactly where you wanna be. If you're not where you wanna be, increase the amount of value you bring to the marketplace, and find a position better suited to yourself, better suited to your skills, and better suited to deliver the value and the monetary equivalent of cash in your life that you desire, that you've established through the secret formula. And that's what I had to do. So, freaking cool stuff. With that said, now you know, don't be negative. And here's your super cool trick to not be negative, okay? If you ever feel negative, right, here's the deal. Positive emotions and negative emotions are in totally separate planes, right? And you cannot have them both at the same time. You can't be ridiculously happy and grateful and joyous and just celebrating everything that's amazing about life, and at the same time be crying and bawling out about how terrible everything is and disappointed. Like, it's just not going to happen. All right? It's two sides of a coin, and then in the middle there's, like, you know, meditation, equilibrium, stuff like that. But you can't have both at the same time. It's positive, it's negative, or it's like calm meditation, stuff like that in the middle. So, and that's really more positive than anything else. It's your responsibility to make sure that positivity dominates your mind. You have to have the habit of having positive aids and positive emotions. Use the power. Oh my God, guys, how many times have I said this? The power of habit. This book is insane. It'll change your life. Use the power of habit to become positive. The presence of a single negative emotion in your conscious mind is sufficient to destroy all chances of constructive aid from your subconscious mind. Oh, my bad. The presence of a single negative emotion in your conscious mind, right? So if you're thinking negatively, that act alone can completely stop your subconscious mind from growing and connecting to a positive and constructive infinite intelligence. You have to make it so that negatives cannot enter your life. And sometimes you have to do that by changing your surroundings, changing your environment. Sometimes you have to do that by changing your mental patterns and changing your thoughts. Like I said earlier, I just took a very negative story and I put a positive twist on it when I lost 100 grand. I put a positive twist on it. I put a positive twist on the Subway story. Positive twist on that story was that I learned that I needed to move on and surround myself with better people and find new careers, new opportunities, and that led me to the stock market. That's a positive twist on that. That's a positive aspect. So please, please, please focus on the positives. Focus on the growth. Focus on the bright side to give your mind the bright side. Last thing you want to do is have your infinite intelligence feed you negative plans. That'll destroy your life. That's why people are stuck in poverty. Because they don't have this education. 98% of people don't have goals. And so what happens is their mind is dominated by negative emotions since they aren't safeguarded against them. They don't know the importance of positivity. And so because of that, if you don't have systems and processes in place to continue systematically creating positivity in your life, negativity is natural. Negativity is the baseline. And it's your job, just like you want to increase your vibrations, to increase your life to a state of positivity over negativity. And you have to make a very distinct distinction to never turn back and never go negative. Always increase your environment, increase your happiness, increase your satisfaction. I don't care. People are dying in Africa. People are starving in prisons. Terrible, terrible living situations across the globe. And what do? How do those people push through? It's because they're happy and they're grateful and they use the positive emotions of desire, faith, love, sex, enthusiasm, romance, hope, and daily reflection, meditation, growth, and reflection to become irreconceivably happy and positive, focusing exclusively on the great things that happen in their lives and completely ignoring and dropping negativity. You guys have seen in the daily journal, right? The on the left side of the page is the planner for the next day that you do the night before. This is like hour by hour for the next day. And then your goals for the next day. And then on the right side of the page, it's just a bunch of lines and the date. And in these lines, right, it's you're trying to write down everything you're grateful for that happened that day, everything you achieved that day. You're trying to pump yourself up at the end of the day and convince yourself that you're freaking amazing and you're worth it and you're great. And also document like all the awesome stuff you did. What do you not do here? Write down stuff that messed up, write down stuff that went wrong. I will never write a negative point here. It's always positive, it's always happy. Even if like terrible things happen, I don't remember those terrible things. How come? Because I don't write them down. What do I write down? I write down positive things. What do I remember? I remember positive things. What does that do to my mind? It feeds it positive thoughts. What do positive thoughts in the conscious mind do? They feed positive thoughts to the subconscious mind. What's positive thoughts in the subconscious mind do? It feeds positive thoughts to the infinite intelligence to use as fuel in the engine of growth, to give you plans to reliably and faithfully achieve your overarching long-term goal. That's the power of positive thinking. It's not just happiness. It's not just smiles. It's a fundamental shift in how you act, behave, think, process, and recall information by using nothing more than positivity. So please, 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 put on sunglasses over your brain and never take them off. And those sunglasses should filter out negativity and only allow you to see positivity. I guarantee you do this for a week, it'll change your life. If all you do is, even if you don't have the daily journal yet, I know most of you guys do, but if you don't have the daily journal yet, if you just write down all the positive things that happen in your life at the end of the day for a week, it'll change your life. If you write down all the amazing things that you got to do, right? Got to do. Got to do. Got to do. I got to do this today. That shows appreciation. That shows gratitude. That shows positivity. Not, I had to go to work. I had to go to school. I had to, I don't know, trade stocks. I love trading stocks. What do I say if I love something? You say, I got to trade stocks today. I got to go to school today. I got to go to work today. It pumps you up. It makes you believe in positivity. It makes you understand that everything you do is worthwhile. Only use the phrase got to when you're reflecting at the end of the day. Only focus on positives. You're not going to say, something terrible happened in your life. Say today I fell down the stairs. Actually, better example. When I fell off my bike, right? What did I write down in my journal? Oh my gosh. I'll tell you what, I'll be right back. I'm going to go get my journal, and then we're going to finish up this module. I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I wrote down the day. Fell down, had to go to the emergency room, freaking 10 stitches in my face. I want to show you guys how you can put a twist on negativity and use it as a way for positive growth. Okay, sound good? I'll be right back. Okay, awesome. I've got it right here. The day was actually, July 1st. July 1st, guys. Oh man. Okay, so what I'm gonna show you here, I've got like my plan for the day, and then I've got my reflection for the day. So I'll go through the plan first just to make sense of how this day was supposed to go, and then we'll go through it. And then we'll finish up this module, because this will be a good way for you guys to understand how to use this and also how to grow with it. So woke up in the morning, and this is marked hour by hour, so I'm just gonna do like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know if this is gonna fit. 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I go to bed at 8. Okay, so workout, and then I was doing prospecting until 8 o'clock for EC Local for sales, and then I had to print shipping. I got to print shipping for eBay and another project I think I was working on. And then I had a webinar. I guess I had a webinar. Webinar stands. Oh, maybe this was planning. Yeah, this was planning for prospecting. And then from 10 to 11 is follow-up for sales, so follow-up. And then till 12, follow-up. That's just calling clients. Then from 1 to 5, basically at this time period, I would leave for school at 12, since school started at 12:30, and then it ended at like 4:30, and then I went bike home, and it's about a half-hour bike ride, so I get home at like 5. So I just kind of put an X there. These classes are English and sociology, which were just breathtaking and very compelling classes. So for the calendar, I didn't write this. I wrote, what did I write? I wrote read, Russell B, which is Russell Brunson / Dan Kennedy. So I was learning more about marketing at this time period, which you guys will obviously see in the book reviews. And then 6, I had an English paper. I was going to spend 1 hour writing my English paper. And then 7, dinner plus meditation. In the morning, I usually just meditate kind of like after breakfast, so I don't write it in there. Sometimes meditation. And then I don't write in meals because I just kind of like fit in meals as they work in throughout the day, because sometimes I eat 10 meals a day, sometimes I eat 6 meals, sometimes I eat 5 meals, sometimes I eat 3 meals, so it just depends. Today, this was a day where that obviously got messed up. And on the bottom part, right, so you've got your schedule, you've also got your overarching daily goals. So my overarching daily goals usually are reflected in my actions, right? Because goals lead to actions, lead to results. For this day, my goals were mostly to get follow-up done and get some sales growing for the sales position, to make some bank, and then reading. So for my overarching daily goals, I put overarching daily goals. I usually do about 3, but a lot of them kind of got enticed into this one overarching goal today, which was, of course, in very simple language, in all caps, and underlined, print. So my goal today was to print. I had to print the shipping label. I got to print the shipping labels, and I got to print some of this follow-up material and sales materials to close deals. And then I got to read. So that was where I got print from. And then obviously I got to do some other fun stuff. And yeah, so this also involves some printing, but it's mostly just computers. So that was what my day looked like. And that's how it was supposed to look like, until obviously I was biking to school and I freaking fell on my face, and the rest of the day kind of got screwed up because it fell on my face. So I was in the ER until like, I don't know, 4, probably 4. And that sounds about right, maybe 4:35. I remember there was about a half hour left of sociology when they finished, and my dad was like, "Do you want to go to sociology?" And I'm like, "Dude, are you kidding?" And so it's probably about 4 o'clock. And so we finish, and then the rest of the day is going to be pretty much told through the daily reflection. So I'm going to transition to that. This is going to be over on the right side of the page. And the point with you guys seeing this and understanding it is the idea that you're using your daily journal as a tool to leverage positivity, to leverage growth, to leverage success in your life, and to keep yourself accountable, keep yourself recorded, keep yourself in the loop. Also, what I'll do, and this is something I don't tell a lot of people, is if I have a trip, I'll put the trip and I'll write it on the side right here. And then as I look back retroactively at what I do throughout the year, I'll put it sort of like written on the top here. And I'll use pretty much every aspect of this thing and write all over it, because I want to get the most out of it, and I want to understand exactly what happened. Same thing with notes, right? There's this section in the back, and all I do is have pages and pages and pages of notes here. So these are very, very valuable insights that I get, and I'll just put them right in my daily journal. I got so much of this stuff. It's all from courses I take, from ideas that pop up during dreams, podcasts, lectures, ideas for books, ideas for growth, ideas for success. And then usually when I take notes on like a seminar, I'll just bring a notebook or a special pad for that, which is super powerful. I really want to get like one of these, except smaller, and then be like seminar notes. So I'll do that. I already have a bunch of them though. So that'll come as time goes on. Not a big deal. You got that? That looked cool? Awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read out what I wrote at the end of the day, on this day, where I freaking fell on my face and got this thing. And really did not feel great. And it was a tough experience. And most people, you know, you look at this and you say, wow, that sucks. I'm just going to complain about it. But that's not the point, right? So, oh my God. So once in a while, I'll prime my day off by writing "this is the best day of my life" at the top of the page for the next day, the night before. So when I was doing my planning by the hour for this day, what I did the night before is I wrote "this is the best day of my life" because I was prepping myself and I was going to go super hard the next day. That was the day to crush it. So that's what I wrote the night before. The night before I wrote "this is the best day of my life." I worked in a group in English. It was amazing. We had partners. We grew and grew. It was amazing. Everyone loved it. This is the best day of my life. Sound cool? Make sense? All right, that's it. And now I'm going to read you what I wrote at the end of that day. Dude, oh my gosh, some crazy stuff. Okay, so I worked out and got to print eBay labels, plus a mega bunch of easy local documents, which was super sweet. Then I got in contact with 6 businesses and got to listen in on the awesome easy local webinar. Plus, I talked to Manas, which was super cool because he said he showed me to his mom, which is so cool, man. Then I focused on one thing and sent out client video pushes. Oh, it's not client videos. Plus, I got to take awesome suit photos for Facebook ads, so that's sweet. It was really all right. I'm gonna pause it for just a moment because there's some stuff here I want to reflect on. The Facebook ad photos were like the last photos I have of myself without this big scar, because after, it's not bad anymore. It looks basically like it did before, normal face. But when I first hit my face, and I have photos, I don't know if I want to share those photos because they're pretty disgusting. If I remember to, I don't know, man. So then there was just this like massive all over my face. It was pretty crazy. So I got my advertising photos before that, which is awesome, and those look sick. And I use those to get some clients in, which is super fun. I also talked about a bunch of work stuff. Manos was cool. He's one of those guys on Facebook, and he was viewing all my content and sharing it with people, which is so fun. It's been amazing talking to him. It's just a little bit over the top. I don't know, it's just a lot of people. I get a lot of messages, so it's tough to keep up. So I just don't keep up and hire people if they need to check that stuff, which is why virtual assistants are so freaking awesome, because I got to do this for you guys. I got to record courses. All right, we're going to continue reading. Super pumped to finish the audiobook. What audiobook? Oh, the 9 to Noon audiobook. Yeah. Then I went to school, ... Sort of fell off my bike, ... Went home to the hospital and got stitches, plus x-rays. Oh, stitches and wounds? I don't know. I had a CAT scan, so maybe, I think it says wounds. Okay, and then I have I have bullet points because I ran out of room on the page, and when you run out of room on the page, I just kind of write bullet points all over the margins. So I wrote Expert Secrets, which was the book I was reading at the time, and then wrote bed because I was kind of freaking tired, and also I spent a lot of time in bed after I got back from the hospital reading. Then I wrote Dan Kennedy because I finished Expert Secrets and moved on to Dan Kennedy's. And I'll link those book reviews below. They're really freaking good. And then I wrote Mexican Lunch with Dad with a giant smiley face because I got to go to lunch with Dad on the way to back from the hospital. Like, that was so cool. That was awesome, right? And then also, I forgot to see, I didn't see this because it blended in with me saying Mexican lunch with dad, smiley face. But the day before, remember when I wrote, this is the best day of my life? I also wrote in the top right margin, this is the day when it all changes. So, I guess I kind of like predestined myself on this day. I mean, it was really weird. I don't usually do this. So, I guess my life changed. Like I talked about earlier in the motorcycle story, I'd probably still be on that path in my life if this didn't happen. So, honestly, man, subconscious manifestation, I'm telling you. I don't know what made me do it, but I wrote, this is the day my life changes. This is the best day of my life. The day before this happened, and when this happened, it fundamentally shifted every viewpoint I had about safety and automobiles and not riding motorcycles and having quality time with family. And it reminded me to always have a way out, always set a stop loss on those trades, because like if I just freaking wore a helmet and it would have still hurt like heck, my hands would have been destroyed like they were, but my head would be cool and it wouldn't be a problem. And so it's that idea that you want to let yourself have a very limited downside by using just a little bit of protection. So for me, putting on a helmet takes freaking 15 seconds. I feel like an idiot for not having it. I didn't see it. I forgot about it. And I think I told you this before, but I was going down that straight path on that pathway, and I remembered like 10 seconds before I ran into that net, oh crap, I forgot my helmet. That was when I fed my subconscious the thought of what happens if I fall. And I had already been feeding it from the night before, the idea that this is the day my life would change. And what happened was, after those two connected, subconscious manifestation, the infinite intelligence, whoosh, that fence right in front of me, slammed my bike on the ground immediately, left me flying through the air and straight to the hospital. You guys should have seen me like biking back. So I was about a mile away from home on the way to school when it happened, and I was recording a podcast, so my phone was like in my bag and it was like behind me, and I couldn't really move my arms enough to take off my backpack and like get the phone out. And then my hands were all bloody, my shirt was all bloody, and there was like blood all over the sidewalk. And so it would have made a huge mess if I tried to take out my phone and call someone. So I got the joy of like biking back while spewing blood everywhere. And oh man, just a great photo. You guys loving this image, I know. But that's the thing, right? I didn't focus on that. I didn't say any of that in this reflection. All I focused on was the positive things. I dedicated maybe one sentence out of 20 in this entire page to the tragedy that happened this day, and focused exclusively on the extremely fun growth I had and the amazing times I had with family, the great work I got done, the happiness I had, the books I got to read, all the positivity, like got to print eBay labels. Got to print eBay labels. Says it right there. Gratitude, happiness, joy. If you focus exclusively on positive emotions, you'll never be negative again. Anyway, I was focusing just a little bit more on what happened there, because I want you to remember, like, that's the power of mental manifestation. I thought about falling, and then what freaking happened, right? Turned into a reality. Your thoughts become your realities. Make your thoughts positive, not negative. I get so scared when I have a negative thought now, because like I know that negative thought, like, holy crap, dude, I gotta stop thinking that or else it's gonna happen. That's when you learn to meditate and dissociate your mind from negativity and completely block it out by using that shade, right? So you only filter in positivity, ignore negativity, you cut it from your life. That's the power of success. That's the power of growth. And that's the power through daily reflection that distills down principles of positivity, that brings you into a point of your life where you're able to reflect, right? And through that reflection, all of a sudden, everything you do is focused on the positive. It's focused on the growth. It's focused on the happiness. So please take this and apply it. Be powerful. Snag your daily journal. I made this thing when I was trying to look for daily journals to do this, like what I'm doing. I hated that they were like all like for like 1 or 2 months. They only had a little bit of space to reflect. And so I made this one, and it's for the entire freaking year. And it has 2 pages for every day. It's got a daily schedule for every day. The daily schedule is insanely powerful. A reflection space, then space at the end for notes. This is everything I wish I had years and years ago because it allows you to record your life. Like when I went and got this and came back here and said, this is what happened on July 1st, that fundamentally shifted from this is what I remember happening, this is what I think happened. I can flip to any page in here and I can talk about how I had an amazingly fun day trading, reading, and learning in the morning and having Italian leftovers and pizza for breakfast on May 29th. Then I read Rise and Grind, took Christopher to school with Aunt Patty and listened to podcasts. Then I got home. Oh my God, this was such a fun day. So much growth, so much happiness. It's all contained in this daily journal where you can focus on exactly what you need to do for the rest of the day, especially your life, to get those overarching long-term goals completed in the best possible fashion and absolutely crush it. That's the power of daily productivity, reflection, and growth. And that's why I wrote this daily journal. So please, 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 I know most of you have it. Make sure you freaking snag your copy. Doing this for the first week fundamentally shifted the way I viewed every single thing I do in my life and held me accountable, held me growing. This is basically like the power, we talked about it earlier, of an accountability partner. You give them like a $10,000 check and you say, cash this. You say, cash this if I don't do something. That's what this book does for you, right? There's so much growth here, so much potential. So I just hope, I know the people that need it are the people that take action and the people that freaking crush it in life. So grab your copy. So many amazing resources around this place, around this members area. Everything you do can become so much better if you focus on positivity. Okay? Sound great? Sound awesome? I think if I touch this button, oh my gosh, I can do it, I can do it. Smiley. Yay. All right, guys. Awesome stuff. Hope you got a ton of value from this module. Go out there, apply, absolutely freaking crush it, and have an amazing, amazing day. I'll see you in the next module. Thank you so much.